I think I solved it.
Alright. Which means heads completes our final three, joining Matt and Jamie, which means Jumid. Jumid, you are our 17th person voted out and the final member of our jury. You've played such a great game. You've played such a very honorable game. And we're sad to see you go, but that's just still a game.
Yeah. Thank you guys for the experience. And
Jumid, thank you.
It has been quite a ride. I knew when James said that when the final challenge will be a puzzle, I knew right off the bat that I don't stand a chance. And I think this final three is solid. Like I know this will be a super difficult final tribal council for Zoomvivor season 3. So I'm super excited to go to Ponderosa.
All right. And with that, Jumid, the tribe has spoken.
Bye guys. Congrats, Hez, Matt.
It's Jumid.
Love you guys.
Here we go. Final three. You're at the end now. We're now at the end. Congratulations to the three of you, because one of you will become the sole Zoomvivor of Zoomvivor No Borders.
I feel crazy. I feel like that was like, I thought yesterday was like a heart race that like I couldn't really like even process. Like the whole night my mind was just racing. I'm sure it was the same way for everybody else, and to be here right now just feels crazy because I've only played one other Zoom Survivor game with you, James, and we know that one just didn't go well, and I left being like, did I play a good game? And like even if I don't win right now, like I played a better game, and like for a hobby, like that's cool, you know? So I'm really happy that like this thing I'm interested in, like all three of us just proved that like we're good at it. So like that's cool. So I'm feeling good right now, and I don't know if I feel good about winning, but I definitely feel good about where I'm at and how I got here. And yeah, I know I got a lot to explain, but I think I'm ready to, and I'm excited.
This is absolutely crazy that I'm here, and I can't even process it. I feel like it's still the beginning of the day, but somehow like 8 hours have passed, and I'm just really proud that I got here. I have no idea how I'm going to prepare for the final tribal council speech at this level of emotion I'm at right now. I just feel like I can't ramp down no matter what I'm doing. I can't think straight. I actually feel like debate is one of the things that I'm really, really good at, and I don't think I'm in a position to be really, really good at it right now. And I just know that Hez and Jamie are going to be coming ready to fight at Final Tribal Council, and I really, really hope that I can win, because I really want to win this money for my charity. And I hope that it's going to go in my favor, but I don't know, man. I'm not feeling like I have this in the bag, because I feel like I'm not able to speak in a way that is going to be captivating and motivating for them to vote for me right now.
How about you, Jamie?
Wow, I'm just crazy. I remember like when we were talking, James, that I told you I was afraid I was going to be the first boot. And now I'm here. That's crazy. I still can't process it. And I feel like, I made some pretty awesome connections as well, apart from the experience. And yeah, I'm so happy.
I was so happy, mostly because I feel like people didn't really know about my game, and people didn't really see what I did throughout the game. other people were strategists, other people were manipulators. I was playing a social game. I was building alliances. I was building trust with people, and that's what got me to the end. And I really needed to explain that, or else I'd just be, another face among 20 castaways. So that I was so motivated to come to be a part of the final three, just so I can say my piece. And once I get that out, I feel like I just feel more comfortable getting that out. As a Survivor fan, I wanna say that I really played hard throughout this game, and I wanna prove that I did up to the end. I want to make my case really strong, and just, you know, hopefully hopefully become the next Zoomvivor. But if that doesn't happen, um, it's still okay, because for a no border season, we have a pretty diverse final three here. We have a pretty diverse story. You have Hazel, who had the whole coming from the bottom, but now he's in final three story. You have Matt, who was always at the top, made flashy moves, a big player. And then you had me, who was under the radar, played a social game. Those are three very different games, and for a no border season, I feel like that really fits the team, and it's going to be a hell of a tribal council.
How about you, Hez?
I'm totally shocked that I'm still here. I thought I'm really dead at F4. But yeah, I'm here and I can try to plead my case to the jury and see if it's enough to give me enough votes to win. But yeah, this is like a crazy adventure and 2 days of no sleep. And I think I'm going to tell the stories after the episodes are aired and how difficult this game is. But I'm definitely recommending this franchise.
I feel like the Survivor gods has given me like everything that they can give to me. Like the fire making challenge was really tough, but also I survived that, and I feel like everything was worth it. If the journey is worth it, the roller coaster is worth it, the ups and downs is worth it, the emotional distress was worth it, and my journey is really not perfect. Like I have ups and downs into this game. Coming into the merge, I don't have the numbers with me. My allies left me one by one. They got voted out, and I don't have to really rely on but myself. I don't have any idols or advantages that I can use to save myself from getting voted out, but I have this to navigate through myself throughout the game. I'm always at the bottom of this throughout the game, but I'm surprised I'm here now on the top. So that's really my journey here at this game of Survivor, and I'm so proud of what I have done and what I did to reach this game and to reach the end. So this is why I deserve the title of Soul Zoomvivor.
Hello guys, and welcome to our final tribal council. We bring in our members of the jury, with Jumid being our final member coming in. Alright, this is how it's gonna go. Each member of the final three will have a chance to say their opening statements. After that, we shift to the jury, and after that, we proceed to closing statements, and the jury will vote for a winner. Okay, here we go. We will start our opening statements with the winner of the final immunity, Matt.
Hi guys. So I took my meds and I'm not gonna cry now. The reasoning that I wasn't on them this weekend is because it makes me extremely drowsy. and I wanted to be alert, and it did make me act a lot more emotionally than I usually like to in public settings that get recorded and put on TV. That being said, or on Facebook, whatever. That being said, I don't want you guys to think that the emotional aspects of my game were any tactic in terms of my tears or things like that. I just want to say that I do have a panic disorder. I don't want it to be used against me. I have a rational thought, and my face sometimes doesn't act the same. That out of the way, I don't want to talk about that. I do want to talk about my game and how much fun I had with all of you guys. I came into this game because I had played once before with James. James told me I should play for this one because I have been kind of down in the dumps lately. Quarantine's been very hard for all of us. I'm sure that's a lot of the reasons why you're all here today, because we don't have anything to do at home and we wanted to do something. I found Survivor in November. It was truly a godsend for me. I was going through a real dark place that we won't talk about. And the metaphor of surviving is just so cool. I'm sure a lot of us locked onto that, not only because we like games, but there's a lot of games and we chose Survivor for a reason. So secondly, I wanted to talk to you guys about how much I enjoyed getting to know all of you guys and why that was kind of an issue for me in this game. I got to merge with everybody wanting to be, in my eyes, is what they told me, my ally. And so I was very happy with that because I felt like I played a good pre-merge as a result. That being said, Josh was one person that I definitely wronged and I was worried about him. And there was a couple people that I hadn't talked to since the beginning of the game and I was worried about them. That was not because I thought that you guys were abandoning me. That was because I truly thought that I had a lot of options, and the ones that would be less of options would be the ones that I talked to the least during the pre-merge game. Yesterday, I think all of us kind of conked out after games. We didn't really expect it to be as exhausting as it was. I went on last night just to kind of check in with people and say hi. The major two people I talked to were Jamie and we had Michael and Colin talking, and then I also had a couple conversations that I felt put me in a good spot for the next day. That being said, I went into the next day being very nervous that I was going to be in trouble because of the connections that I had already made. I then went forward knowing that Josh might be the person that is going against me, even though we did have a good chat. Josh, I did trust that you didn't want to go against me, but I felt like you had the best opportunity of people that was going against me. And so for that reason, I did choose to gun for you. I talked about it with a couple people and I was throwing your name around. I apologize for that. I just felt like if I got you out once, it was going to come back to bite me in the butt. You were a very strong player. That made me nervous. I went forward and I do feel like I had a lot going on in my head because I wasn't so used to the speed rounds of this, but I do think that I did eventually come to my own with how to use the short amount of time to my advantage. For those reasons, I felt a lot more comfortable potentially saying that somebody said something to me that they didn't actually say so that I could get the vote to steer in that way. I recognize that's a shady tactic. I apologize for it. It was not personal, but it was something that kept votes off of me. I also went forward going with outplay style. I'm proud of the immunities that I won, but I really think that my outplay came from the adaptation that I took going forward with the speedness of this game and the connections that I was able to keep up with. I felt like I was doing a good job managing my conversations in a way that I could go to most of the tribals feeling like I wasn't getting votes. The only votes that I did end up getting were the ones that came from my chaos vote, and those two votes saved me instead of sending me home. I was really happy with the way that the merge was going forward, but I did truly feel bad with each of you that I sent home in a way that was not the most fun to go home. I think a lot of us see what's happening on TV. I recognize that I was very excited to make a lot of the moves that got me so excited about this game. I feel very fortunate that a lot of them I was able to do, including the chaos round. I also feel like I played my idol correctly, even though it wasn't actually to save myself. It was to keep me out of the rocks and make that vote of Sophia. I apologize again. That vote of you going home, solely my kind of decision because I knew that Deb wasn't going to vote for Hezel. And so I did use that as a round that was allowing me to get Sophia out. Sophia, I apologize. The true reason why I wanted you out at that round was because the round before, Jamie was talking to me a bit more. And Sophia, we were talking in group chats, but we weren't talking one-on-one for the 2 rounds before that. And I felt that you were very tight with Jamie and that it was going to come to bite me in the butt. I also felt that you leaving would give me a position where I would be able to get to the end with the people that I did get to the end with. I was surprised by the final part where Hezel had the opportunity to fight it back. I actually think it was great that he had that opportunity because if I was in his position, I'd be bummed if it was just an obvious boring vote. That's what it was because we had agreed on it as a 3. But I think that I did play the outlast, the outwit, and the outplay part of this in a way that I feel proud of. But I recognize that there was a lot of things that I did to get there that weren't the most pleasant, and I apologize for that. I do want to say before I wrap this up that I am very new to orgs. This is my 3rd one that I've played. The first one was a Zoom Survivor with James that literally changed my life and got me so excited about this game, Whew, got that out. And going forward, I went on to Discord and made a whole bunch of friends that I played in a game on that one. In the first game, I got 6th. In the second game, I made it to the same position, same type of tactics where I truly felt like I was polite to everybody. I got to know everybody. People wanted to be my ally. And I had to do a couple of things to get people to go home, and I'm more than happy to explain that and be honest about it. So please ask me if you are worried about any of the reasonings that I had. I've been keeping a whiteboard. I've been keeping notes. I've been keeping spreadsheets of all the different things that I was planning on doing. I came in expecting to be able to use the merge advantage and idol that I got, and I told people that it came from the deep web so that they wouldn't think that if I had one of the ones on that picture, I had the other one. And I did things like that I'm more than happy to talk about. I recognize that I made a lot of promises to people. I recognize that there's a lot of people sitting on the jury right now that feel like I broke the promise because I did break the promise. I apologize for that. That being said, I'm still extremely close with everybody from the Zoom Survivor game that I played before this, and I'm extremely close with the people from that Discord game, and regardless of this, I really want to be close with people if we want to continue, and whoever wins this, I won't speak badly of Hezel or Jamie unless requested of me, and I think that they played a great game, so thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Matt. Now we go to Jamie.
Hi everyone. So I'm gonna tell you about a game that none of you saw. So you'd notice that even from the beginning, I was 80% of the time I was in a majority alliance. And how did I do that? Well, I this looking girl in the room, Sophie, knowing that everyone would trust her or me. So, and that's exactly what happened. Someone would message Sophia, and she'd automatically recommend to team up with me. And I did also the same to message me. I'd recommend them to team up with Sophia teamed up with, and that's how our majority alliances were usually formed. It happened Puka 1, and it also happened Merge. Now, how did I gain people's trust, including Sophia's? You'd notice that I had a lot of loyal allies in this, and that's a huge part of what got me here. And only Matt and Sophia knew about this, but I had 3 advantages total in the game. So the first was a pre-game advantage that I got even before the game started. It was an immunity idol that I didn't even need because I only was allowed to use it before the merge, and I was in a pretty solid position even before the merge. My name was never really thrown out. So, but I know as you guys are Survivor fans, you know that to play an idol to use it correctly. I used my idol to gain people's trust, and they were loyal to me till the end, and you guys were witnesses to that. I showed Sophia my idol. She ended up being an extremely loyal ally. She became my partner. We played almost the exact same. Oh my god! We played almost the exact same game, and I feel like that's one of the reasons why I voted her out, because I feel like, in the end, I would definitely clash in your eyes. So I had to vote her out, even though it really broke my heart. Anyways, I showed Jared my idol. He was 100% with me in the end. Even he got voted out, he gave me insider info right before he went out. I showed Matt my idol, and not only did he go to Rocks for me, he went to the end with me. The second advantage that I got was the double vote. Yes, that was the one with the two Western votes. The third one was the immunity I Sophia played. Um, we were outnumbered by this Filipino alliance, and though I was a Filipino, I knew I was at the bottom of that alliance. I had a pretty strong connection with Sophia and Matt, and I wasn't willing to throw that away. So, but we were outnumbered by the Filipino alliance. So I voted for Sophia to gain the trust of the Filipino alliance idol just to make sure she was safe. Um, it ended up being the best move for my game because that's when we flipped everything and became the majority alliance. So you can see that I use my weaknesses to my advantage. Being underestimated became my superpower. And I know that you all are Survivor fans, so I hope you know that the flashiest moves aren't always the winning ones. That's all. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jamie. And now we go to the final member of our top three, Ezo.
So, hi guys, good morning and good afternoon to the Americans. So, I have a different story to tell. So, my game basically is not perfect. My game has ups and downs. It was really like a roller coaster, but I can definitely say that I am proud of how well I played this game. So, I use the moniker the Fox. So, why the Fox? So, foxes are known to be friendly and curious in their surroundings. They also have a sly and cunning nature as well. So I have these qualities that I integrated on the game. So day one, I use my friendliness and my curiosity in the surroundings to try to build relationships and try to cultivate them so that I can prove to them that I can be their loyal ally. So once hit merge, they can trust me. All right. But when merge hits, all hell break loose. All right. So this was the real test. So there were a lot of times that I was not in the right vote. I was not on the right side of the votes, and my allies are leaving one by one. But as a fox, I have to be sly and cunning in order for me to adopt to the different facets of the game. I had to adjust. I had to try to talk to different people and try to talk reasons with them and try to see that this person is trying to target you. This is why we need to vote them out. But yet no one's trying to listen to me, and yet I'm still here. So in retrospect, I don't have any advantages. I don't have control in any votes, but I keep on adapting and I do not give up. And that's why I think I deserve the Sole Survivor. All right. And if you have any questions, I'm feel free to answer all of them. Thank you.
Okay, jury. You've heard everything that they have to say initially. Now we turn to you. We start with Michael, first jury member.
Hey guys, congratulations. Hazel. What would you say your one defining move of the game is?
My one defining move?
Yeah.
Alright, so my one defining move is at F6. So they try to vote me out, but they cannot vote me out because I had a deep relationship with them. So instead of they were so afraid of going to rocks, so instead of going to rocks, they voted out they tried to vote out Sophia. Which before that, I'm trying to talk with Sophia that hey, we need to work together because they're trying to clump together, right, Sophia? And I told you that they cannot they're not listening. So yeah, I voted with the majority during that time, and I hope you understand that, Sophia.
Yeah, of course. Awesome.
All right, we now go to the second member of our jury, Eman.
Hey guys, congratulations first and foremost. So I have one common question for you all. I want you to reassess your game since the merge started, and then take a look at the jury. I want you to take a look at the jury and name names which jury members will vote for you.
All right,
That's my question.
Let's start with Matt.
Looking at the jury, I think Lauren might feel betrayed by me, and I respect that, so I don't think that she will vote for me. Emin hopefully will get your vote because I think that from talking to you that you'd respect the gameplay that I had, but I don't know if I'll get your vote. Sophia, I did you dirty, and I think that I will be getting Sophia's vote, even though she's so close with Jamie, because I think that she respected it, and if she didn't, I'm sorry, girl. Sorry. Colin, I have a lot of explaining to do to you. I hope that I get your vote. I'm going to be optimistic and say I think I will, but that's optimism. Michael, I do think that I'll get your vote, but I don't know what happened in Ponderosa. I don't know the conversations that happened there. I don't know how that's going to affect that. It's been a long game since then. Deb, I don't know if I'm going to get your vote. I think that you respect me as a person, and I know that, and I love that. And I don't know what you're thinking about other people's games. Josh, I literally have no idea if I'm getting your vote. I am expecting to get completely reamed out by you, and I hope you do because you deserved. I don't think I'm getting Josh's vote, no. And I don't know about my buddy here that just left, because I would like to think so because we had some really good chats and I did advocate for him a couple times throughout this game. That being said, he was just as close. You're just as close with Jamie, and probably more so. And I think that will matter. And so I don't think I'm going to be getting that vote. And
move on to Hez.
So I feel like Lauren, I think I can get Lauren's vote because I've been really transparent with Lauren and how I plan to navigate this. Aside from that, I feel like I can get also Emma's vote because during the game we really bonded and we really enjoyed each company and we really talk about strategy. Josh, I feel like we've really had a connection and we really tried to I really tried to stick with you even though they're trying to go against you. I tried to flip the vote in order to save you, and I think I deserve the vote. Deb, we really had a great connection, and it was really nice to actually play with you, and I feel like I deserve your vote. Michael, I'm not sure if I can vote. I'll get your vote, but I hope you listen to to this FTC. So, but maybe you can change your mind a little bit. Colin, I have been working with you. I hope you listen to what I have to say during this entire game, and I hope I can get your vote as well. Sophia, this is like we have like a antagonistic relationship that I keep telling her to work with her, and yet when it was the right time, it didn't happen. So I hope you can see what I did so that we can work together. Yeah, and Jumed, that's one. So I keep on working with this guy, but he keeps on not working with me. But yet I did not. I persevered to work with him until the very last time. But yeah, it really sucks that at F4 that happened. And I hope Justin is listening. If Justin's listening, we were like in separate alliances, but we keep on feeding information, and I hope that would guarantee me one vote for him. That's it. Thank you.
Sorry, Hez, I didn't get an answer if you think I'm gonna vote for you or not.
I hope I can get your vote. Yeah.
All right, Jamie.
I think there's no sure way to know who's gonna vote for me because I feel like everyone has different criteria of who they're gonna vote. But I'd like to think that I'm gonna mention people who I was 100% built to and build connection from the beginning. So that was definitely Michael. Though we didn't really get to talk a lot, we kind of already had this unspoken thing that we had each other's back. I did. I don't know if you did, but I hope you did. But and then of course there's Sophia that I was very close the very beginning, and I hope she understands that I had to do that for what was best for my game. And she's smiling right now, so I think she's not mad at me. Yay! um, uh, Also, there's of course Jumed, who I was definitely close with, and we had each other's back from right at the merge. Um, we had each other's back. We told each other we were kind of each other's spy shack. That was the thing going on because we were from different alliances. So I hope that he respects that bond that we had. And then Justin, I know we had our differences, but I feel like, since we were from Buka, um, and I feel like we had pretty good conversations as well. And then I kind of saw Emman smiling a bit when I was talking, so I'm taking that as a good sign. Manifesting the win. That's all. Thank you.
All
I
right.
didn't get an answer from Jamie, like similar motion as Hez. As Jumed, you didn't answer, like as regards me.
Oh, the question was about who
Yeah, and you didn't say, like you just left me out of the conversation.
was going to vote for you. And conversations, we never talked once in the entire game, and I feel like you're very loyal to Hez. But if that's going to be your criteria of voting, I don't think I would get your vote. But if you have a different criteria of voting, I hope you respected my game, even though we didn't really get to talk to each other. So hopefully you also vote for me. I won't. Honestly, I hope everyone votes for me, but I have no idea who's going to vote for me. That's why I only mentioned the people that I was at least 80% sure about.
Oh, okay, because I felt like excluded as a jury member that you only talked to like unlike the others, they really mentioned each person. Like you only mentioned like a few. So I thought the answer was to for you to like mention all the jury members. So like thank you for that.
Yeah, sorry about that if you felt excluded.
All right. Thank you so much, Eman. Now we go to our third jury member, Josh.
Hello, congratulations again. I guess to preface, Jamie, you also didn't mention me, but I want to make it clear that my vote is open and that I haven't decided who I'm voting for, and that I'm a fan of the game and I'm a fan of Survivor moves, and I just want to see a good final jury showing, and so far that's playing out. I guess I'll start with Hez. I don't really have a question, but I just want to make it known that I think you played from the bottom very well, and I think that you played the hand that you were dealt, and I recognize that, and I think that especially your tribe where they went to rocks, or they didn't go to rocks, was just really well done, and I just really respect that. I guess we'll go to Matt next. You may be pleased to know I've cooled off in the last 3 hours sitting around eating pizza, but if I could describe your game in one word, it would be inconsistent, because I struggle to see how some of your game fits with the other half, because at one time you're very sensitive and want everyone to have fun and you want to include everybody, and you make these kind of grand statements about how you want everyone to fit in and be friends and things, while at the same time my view of you is that you were the most manipulative person in the game. And you mentioned me a couple times in your opening statement saying that you had to gun for me because you had voted me out, but what you didn't mention is that why did you try to vote me out in the first place, the first time? Because as it stands, it feels like that was, if not entirely, at least your responsibility in the first time. And I think what's frustrating to me is I really was trying to play a trusting game with people from the beginning. And so for me, that was really frustrating, having people from the jury come in and learning more and more of the different kind of deceptions you were pulling. So I also want you to be very brief because you go on for a while. So in a couple of sentences, I just want you to explain, why did you try to take me out that first time?
And your question is just that one, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that first time, the reason that I did try to take you out was because I did not expect there to be another tribe swap. And when we got there, I was in a position where there was 3 of us and then 4 people, and I was at the moment where I didn't know any of those 4 people, just like we didn't. The reason I went for you specifically was because I felt like I had been so social and so outgoing that I was going to be a target if I didn't say something to somebody. I reached out to Sophia kind of right away, and we chatted, and I said that I felt good with her, and that was truly a deceptive thing, and I recognized that. I deceived in the way that I tried to stay loyal with you guys, and I did not do that. And specifically, it was you rather than Deb, because Deb, I felt like would be somebody that was playing the same type of game as me, where we were social and a threat, but one that if she was there, it might not be me, where you could sneak under the radar a little bit more. I was really nervous about your ability to kind of, in our few sentences, make me feel like I was good with you. I felt like if we got to merge the next round, that was easily going to happen with the people you hadn't met. And I thought you were a threat, and I was in a position where I felt like I was going to go out if I didn't say something at the beginning of that round, and that's why I did that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jamie, similar question. I think that, I mean, for my game, obviously, it was pretty pivotal, that moment. But I also had talked to you and Sophia, at least separately, and you had the option to go with me or Matt in the same situation. So why did you choose Matt over me? When from my perspective, he was loyal to you, but for everyone else, specifically Colin, who I will say was his closest ally, who Matt didn't even mention in the first opening statement. He mentioned me a lot, but I know that actually Colin has way more issues. So why did you go with Matt instead of me?
My relationship with Matt went on even before at the beginning of the game, because he was the first one who sent me a friend request. So I felt like he definitely wanted to work with me. And so when we got to the tribe swap, we were you and I were only talking about like life, our favorite survivor players, but Matt was already talking strategy to me, and I felt like I could trust him. We even had little conversations when everyone left the room. We had like the video call thing. It was just the 2 of us for like 50 seconds. And I felt like that was what really created the bond between us. And as much as I really liked you
That's
as
enough.
well,
That's fair.
All right, thank you so much, Josh. Now we go to our 4th jury member, Lauren.
Hi everyone. So congratulations to the 3 of you like for making it this far. I'm gonna address you individually on particular aspects of your game that I'd like you to expound on, which I'll be taking into consideration when I vote. So the first person I'd like to address is Hazel. So Hazel, you were my ride or die, and during my vote, you were the only one who voted for me. Like even when it was clear that I was the vote. So why did you do that instead of jumping ships? And that would have been the best move for your game. Like you stuck to a sinking ship instead of like trying to advance your game. Like was that jury management on your part? Because full disclosure, me and Hazel know each other from before, but we only found out that we were playing during the marooning. So anyway, why did you do that? Why didn't you just flip to the other side when whether you voted with me or not, I was the one who was going home? You could have penetrated the majority block that way had you not voted with me. So I want to hear what your mindset was when you voted with me, even when I was the sure vote.
I believe I've already talked with this to several members of the jury. Like for example, Sophia. Sophia clearly told me you are the vote, but I told her that I would not vote for you. I I wanted to send a message that I'm a really loyal ally. So even though you go home, that they could still trust me. So um I have to make sure that even though you're going home, I can still make it and I can still survive even though you're not there anymore with me. I have to adapt, but also I want to prove to myself and to you that I am loyal until the very end. All right?
So was a jury management? Like how could you prove your loyalty to the majority block when you were loyal to me?
I want to make sure that I can send a message that, hey guys, even though he's going home, I did not vote for because I'm really loyal, and um yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay, thank you. The next person I'd like to address is Jamie. So Jamie, as you mentioned, yeah, we didn't get to talk this entire time, but like I really didn't feel your presence much during this game. Like even your jury speech, which was supposed to be about you, I noticed that you kept mentioning Sophia's name. Like it was her name that was always thrown around, and I also found out in Ponderosa and through your jury speech that you were very tight with Sophia, Michael, and Matt, who were also threats, but I never heard your name thrown around. Like I saw you as a sidekick, like their beta, like even the idol that you gave to Sophia, like you could have play, like why didn't you play it like for her? Like you had to give it to her. Like I get that UTR and threat management are a thing, but I felt that you just stayed in Sophia's shadow. So why couldn't you stand on your own? Like why did you feel that your game was so tied to Sophia's?
Okay, the thing is that um, everything I did was to advance my game. It might and the and I didn't show that to you guys because that would definitely make me a threat. If I use my idol on myself, that would make me a threat. If you guys knew about my 2 votes, that would make me a threat. And unfortunately, I feel like since Sophia was in the spotlight throughout that, she obviously got a lot of votes throughout that, but I definitely feel like I made a majority of moves as well that Sophia didn't know about. Like I made alliance with Jumid. I made Matt was actually my number one. You know, there was those moves that
Not Sophia, so it was Matt.
yeah, actually, along the merge, Matt became my number one because I realized, you know, I can't make it to the end with Sophia. So there were a lot of moves. If I showed that to you guys, that would make me a threat, and I wouldn't be here.
But Matt, did you see Jamie as your number one? Who was your number one, Matt?
My number one changed a lot because I told you, Lauren, that you were my number one, and then I didn't see you for a very long time. And yesterday, my number one was you. And then going into the night before, I talked to people and I made a couple of number ones. I will say that it was deceptive of me, but it was their decision. Yeah. Yes, I had a number of multiple number ones. Today, after the first 2 votes, I had locked in on Jamie.
Also, Jamie, so you're each other's number ones, Matt and Jamie.
At this point and today, yes, yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So Matt, so it's Ponderosa consensus that you really played a really solid game. Like you had so many alliances, you had everyone wrapped around your finger, like hands down to your strategy. It was really good. But it was also consensus that you were sneaky, that you played everyone, that you were manipulative. But I wasn't slighted by your betrayal. I mean, everyone here came in with the expectation of being blindsided. Like, it's Survivor. But my concern is your jury speech. Like, I felt that your gameplay was very cutthroat, but your jury speech was very emotional. Like during the time with the Sophia Hez vote, even your final tribal vote, like you were very emotional. Like instead of justifying your gameplay, why did you have to feel the need to appeal to emotion? Like it feels kind of performative. Like instead of defending your stellar gameplay, why did you choose that approach in addressing the jury? Do you think we're an emotional jury?
So I'm actually very, very, very glad you asked that question. I was hoping it would be asked. And here is exactly why. I have emotions that I can't control sometimes. And I do think it's part of who I am. And it's something that needs to be shown for the authenticity of myself. I do think it is something that gets people to like me, so I recognize that. Final Tribal Council is a point, though, where I did not use it for any reason specifically to get empathy. I wanted to explain that there was parts of this game that I was overly emotional for because I'm not used to having a 48-hour period during this heightened level that I'm at, which I won't talk about. I have mental health things like we all do. This week specifically was one that made me almost not want to do this game. And the second reason specifically why my jury speech was a little bit more emotional siding was because the other final tribal council that I'd been in before, I went in telling everybody that I wanted to explain my moves and my strategy and things like that. It was a completely social game with no immunity wins and no advantages, and I went in telling them why I thought I should win, and they all said that I was an asshole and that I didn't deserve to win based off of the fact that I was a bad person. And this jury, I know I got emotional, and it's because it wrecked me that time. It wrecked me, and it made me not want to do it again. And I wanted to prove to myself that I can switch up my game completely. I played a completely different game, and I did a bunch of research for it. And I live in Minneapolis, and I had a manic episode at the time that the riots happened, and it hasn't stopped. And I'm thinking completely clearly right now, and my face doesn't show it, and it's a disability, so I apologize. And that's my answer, is that I switched up my jury speech specifically because the way that you just said that I could have done it another way. I did that before, and I was called an asshole, and I would rather lose than be called an asshole. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you to all three of you, and good luck.
All right, thank you so much, Lauren. We now move on to Colin.
Hey guys, as everyone says, congratulations. Hez, I'll start with you. I don't really have a question, but I just want to say, pre-merge, we worked together mostly. Post-merge, not so much, but we never had beef. We never were against each other. You did vote me, but that's not, hey, that's the game. So I don't have a question for you. I just want to say, I think from what other people are saying, I appreciate you playing from the bottom, and I think you played a pretty good game despite, not having as many advantages or wins. So I just want to say kudos to you. Jamie, I'm going to come to you last, but I do have a question for Matt. And so I want you to... I want you to put yourself in my shoes. Yep. I trusted you 100% completely. Yep. I told you everything, and I expected you to tell me everything, which I thought you did. And then I was voted out unanimously, and I didn't even get a warning shot. So why should I vote for you when I put everything on you and I didn't get that in return?
Yep. That is a phenomenal question, and it's something that I was kicking myself for, not because I regretted it, but because I recognized that was another thing that hurts. We are all in this game because we want to do well, and I played a game that allowed me to avoid votes, and it was because I did not tell people things that I knew would get to the person I wanted out, and because I didn't want to tell people things that would give them a chance to use an advantage that there was a ton of. Specifically with you, I do want to say that I felt extremely good working with you, but when I saw the opportunity to have you go, because people were saying it, I did also say it. It's not like I went along with it. I recognized that I was pushing you that round, but it was also a round where Deb was gonna try to use an idol. Deb, I'm gonna talk to you about that in a second. I've got a lot of explaining to do there too, but I knew that Deb had an idol, and I thought that I could get you out because you were a threat. You were clearly close with me visibly because we were both surprised by the Michael vote out, and I didn't want them to think that as numbers got smaller that you and I were going to be a pair that wouldn't bust. And so I wanted to make sure that you were gone at a chance that I could also get an idol played, and it came down to those very quickly merging together at the same time in a way that I do think I helped orchestrate, and I apologize for the feelings it left you with, because I would have been feeling the exact same way. So.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And then Jamie, you and I didn't really work closely together. We were in group chats, always with Sophia, Matt, and Deb. And I guess the only time I ever reached out to you directly was the time I got voted out. So kind of in a similar situation, as someone who I don't know you that well, and you explained your game and I think it's great, but as someone who didn't really work with you closely, why should I vote for you?
Why should you vote for me? Well, because, I feel like as a jury member, you should vote with the not by by the times you spoke to someone, or by how many times you guys try to make alliances with each other. I feel like as a jury member and as a Survivor fan, you're gonna vote based on which gameplay you respect, and I hope you respect my gameplay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for that, Colin. Now we move on to number 7, Sophia.
Okay, well, congratulations, all three of you, Hez, Matt, and Jamie. I think you all played excellent, very different games from each other, but obviously they all got you to the end. Hez, our paths collided a couple times, but they never really met up. It was fun having those group chats with you, but I think you really shone as someone who was able to overcome again and again being on the bottom. Like I really respect that. Moving on to Matt, I feel like you played an excellent game. As other members of the jury are saying, you definitely had your hands in a lot of different honey pots or pies. Like you were moving and working those alliances, and I feel like everyone could tell to some extent, which is both a blessing and a curse. It means you've got people to work with you, but also you're maybe more of a target. However, you were able to hold that target and make it all the way to the end, so kudos to you. And then Jamie, I obviously loved working with you just one-on-one. We had a strong alliance, but your jury speech is the one that really blew me away. I think it really revealed a lot of your game that was not evident like throughout the game. And those are always my favorite jury speeches, are when I can get to the end and be like, whoa, like you did that, like a Sophie Clark sort of moment. But I think you played a game that was very similar to Michelle Fitzgerald in that you weren't always seen as the mover in the moves, but you were the person pushing those moves. So what I'd like to give you the opportunity to answer is, what did you do beyond our alliance? Because I feel like a lot of people felt like you were like with me, but not necessarily in a way that's partner, but like below me. And I even felt like, oh, I need to protect Jamie. But I think that's evident to your prowess in the game, is that you were able to convince me to think that way and then play within that structure throughout the rest of the game. So what did you do above our alliance to go to the end and play for yourself?
At the beginning, at the very beginning, you weren't my only alliance. I was pretty tight with Jared. We had a pretty strong alliance. And I was also talking to Ellis, who was part of the Filipino alliance, because there was also a Filipino alliance going on in our first tribe. And so I was talking to him and he was giving me information, and I didn't really tell you about that. I only told you what you needed to know. But and then moving forward, I felt like I created a strong bond with Matt, and that's eventually what got me here in the end. And I feel like I never really told you that, because you thought you were my number one, but eventually Matt became my number one. And I felt like that was one of the biggest moves that I made that led me here today. And then I also was working with Jumed, and we were working together very silently, and I didn't really tell you how close we've gotten. I only told you that we were talking, that we could trust him, but I didn't really tell you that I made a final 3 pact with him and Matt by the end. So I kept a lot of secrets from you, and I felt like, that isn't really a sidekick story. I'm sure it may have looked weak to some of you guys, but that's definitely a reason of why I am here. I am here because I didn't show all the moves that I made. I only showed you when you needed to know it. So that's all.
I really respect that. Great job.
Right. Thank you so much, Sophia. We now go to the most one of the most lovable characters of Survivor season 3. We go now to Teacher Deb.
Oh, congratulations so much to all three of you. Hez, I'm going to start with you. I loved working with you there at the end. I wish we had started working together sooner. I think you did a great job coming from the bottom, and I think we worked very well together. If you were in my place, who would you vote for? Jamie or Matt? Tough one, isn't it?
All right, so that's actually a good question. But with things that getting unfold right now, I think I got a better respect for Jamie.
Okay, thank you. Jamie, I don't know you. We were in a group, but you never talked that I remember in the group. You may have once or twice, but not much. I just don't know you. So I've listened to your speech, and I think that you did do some behind the scenes stuff, but I still wonder to what, because I wasn't in your first tribe or your second tribe. Well, second one, but not the third one. So I didn't see you move much. I didn't see you do much. Here's my question for you. Similar question. Who would you vote for if you were in my place, Hez or Matt, and why?
I would vote for Matt. Only.
Why?
Well, because I think he played a stronger game than Hez. That's it.
Okay. Thank you. Matt, I don't want you to say anything. I want you to hear me, okay? I think you are one of the most amazing players I've ever met. I was so impressed when I figured out. Now, it took me a long time to figure it out, but when I figured out just how many pots you had your hand in, I was so stunned. Getting Colin out the way you did and getting me to throw my idol away was amazing. Just absolutely stinking amazing. And to me, that shows just what a gift you had in the behind the scenes. And so, I'm just impressed by your play, like immensely impressed by your play. I do not regret anything that happened to me. I see it all as gameplay. My idol, and at the end, you had to vote me out. I've got no problem with that. I would have voted you out had you not gotten immunity. I mean, we were at that point. We talked. I hold nothing against you. I think you're awesome. So now here's my question. I think I know the answer to it, but who would you vote for between the two? Jamie or Hez?
Yeah, if it wasn't for me, I would vote for Jamie. I think it's because Jamie played a stronger game.
Okay.
And yep, that's it. That's the answer.
That's all I wanted to know. Again, congratulations to all three of you. You guys are amazing.
All right, thank you so much for that, Teacher Deb. We now go to the final member of our jury, the sleepiest jury member of all, Jumid.
Okay, hi guys, good morning. So I'm really happy that you all made it to the final three. Like I've said it earlier that I wouldn't stand a chance to beat any one of you. So I'm glad to be part of the jury right now, to be honest. I have no questions for Hez because I think that he really fought his way to the top, especially when he reached final four. Like I thought that he would just surrender already, but it was super admirable that he still thought of doing a strategy of possibly doing a fire making challenge between him and Jamie. So I really admire you, Hez. I have a question for Matt and Jamie. For Matt and Jamie though. So for Matt, I'm a super relational person. Like I'm super emotional also. So I stayed true to you during the whole span of the game, and because I really felt like we shared a lot of common things in life. But looking at the way your game was played, was it all just an act, and did you just use me as a pawn?
I can promise you that it was not an act. The reason that I would deflect your name all the time that I heard it was because I knew that you wanted to have fun with this just like I did. We talked about our anxieties. It was very visible on camera that you were also having a couple of anxiety moments, not in a way that was any bit embarrassing, but it was something that was obvious to me in a way that related to me. I felt like we connected so much, and I did see you as somebody that I could beat because at the time that we started really working, we I was at a position where I had made more moves than you did. So it definitely was a position where I thought I could beat you, but it also was a position where we chatted and we felt good about each other, and we didn't get to chat enough because it went so fast. But every time we talked, it was like, oh my God, Jumit, thank God you're feeling like just as ramped up right now, or things like that. So I want you to know it was strategy, but it also was me being like, Jumet's cool. Beginning of the game, I had people written down, and you were one of them. Just first fives, and when we chatted last night, like I know it was short, but like I didn't have that type of conversation with somebody besides Jamie last night. Whereas Colin and Michael, we chatted about being good with each other and being good with the game and wanting to get to know each other afterwards. You and I chatted about what you just said. So yeah.
Cool. I really I would really like to thank you for the honesty. Like that's the answer that I'm expecting from you, to be honest. Okay, Jamie. Okay, hello. So, okay, if Sophia was not eliminated during that super controversial boot, would you have brought her to the final three instead of me?
I'm sorry, Sophia, but no. As I said, Sophia and I had a pretty close strategy when it came to the game, and I didn't want her to be with me in the final three as much as I liked her. So I was being honest with you when I told you that you were with me in the final three.
Okay, same question as Matt. Did you think of me as a goat? That's why you decided to bring me to the final three.
It wasn't that you were a goat, but you were beatable. I did think that you were the weaker of the three, me, Jamie, you. I thought that if somebody would beat me, it would be Jamie over you, but it wasn't necessarily a goat. It was somebody I thought I could beat, and I enjoyed you as a person and wanted to stay true.
Sorry, Matt. I was actually asking the same question to Jamie. Did she think of me as
Oh,
a
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Sorry,
It's cool.
could you repeat the?
No,
It's
I
to
was
Jamie or
asking
to me?
that question was meant for Jamie.
Oh, I'm so
I was
sorry.
asking her the same question. Did Jamie, did you think of me as a goat or as a pawn? And was that the reason why you decided to bring me to the final three? If ever things went our way. I need you to be honest with me.
I know. That definitely was a factor. I'm not gonna lie, that was a factor. But that wasn't the only factor. We were pretty solid. We had a very trustworthy alliance until the end. I could have gotten teamed up with someone else, but I because a lot of people didn't really show much strategy as well. So that wasn't the only factor. I want you to know that.
Okay, cool. Yep. Congratulations, guys.
All right.
For making it far.
Right, you've heard what the jury has to ask, and now we finish up with a very brief closing statement with the three of you. And closing statement meaning just make it brief because the sun is shining over here. And also so that our jury will be, just think of it as a final persuasion to the jury. And the question is, why should you be our next soul survivor? Let's start with Matt.
I'll keep it brief. I know I don't do that. Firstly, I think that I should be the sole survivor because, like you guys wanted me to say, a couple of you, I did play the best game. I really think I did. I played the game that Jamie played before and I lost, and so I switched it up completely, and now I played a completely different game. And I think that I deserve to be the sole survivor because I do think I represent a person that has a lot of different hands in pots in many areas of this game, but not only game, but also life. And I think I would be a good representation of this org as a whole, and especially a no borders season where I did try to get to know every single person regardless of who they came across as initially, or if I had a leaning towards them at the first place. So I think that I played the best game, and I deserve to be the sole survivor for that reason.
All right, thank you, Matt. Heads.
I think I deserve the title of Soul Survivor because I really played from the bottom. I have the different game from the both of these people. I don't have any advantages that I can use. I only talk to people and try to reason with them. I don't have any control with the votes. I try, sometimes I'm not on the right side of the votes, but I try to persevere and try not to lose hope. I think what I want to represent this win because the Modern Survivor is really about being the shiniest, being the flashiest moves. I don't have that, and I kind of want to represent that again. Thank you.
All right. Lastly, we go to Jamie. Why should you be our next Soul Zoomvivor?
I should be your next Soul Survivor because I may not have made the flashiest moves. You may not have seen all my moves, but you can definitely tell that they were moves that got me to the finals. Another part of why I think I'm a Soul Survivor is because I made great connections with people, and I don't think anyone here felt burned no matter the strategies I did, and I feel like that's a big part of being a Soul Survivor. If you've been watching Survivor.
All right. Thank you so much, Jamie. Jury, you've heard everything our final three has to say. Now the power shifts to you. Now, once I call you guys to vote, again, you are going to vote for a winner. And with that being said, jury, it is time to vote. Again, we are voting for a winner.